All right, so today on the podcast, I have returning guest Katharine Grubb. Welcome to the show, Katharine.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
I'm so glad to have you back on. So would you like to tell us, for those who didn't hear your first episode, a little bit about yourself and what you do and what you write?
All right. Well, I'm Katharine Grubb, and I'm the founder and CEO of 10 Minute Novelist, which is a Facebook group mostly. And we have over 15,000 members worldwide. And on this day in 2014, on a whim, I started this group because I was in the process of drafting my first nonfiction book, Write a Novel in 10 Minutes a Day. Now, the reason I had the contract is because I'd had practice of working on my own writing dreams in 10-minute increments. I chose to do that because I had 5 kids, and at the time they were all 8 years old and younger. And I had big writing dreams, and I knew the only way to find time was to make time, without fully understanding that like these hour-long stretches of uninterrupted time is just completely out of reach and unreasonable. And so what I could do is a little bit. And so I made a goal back in, well, way back, like 2008, 2009, of just setting my timer for 10 minutes and going back and forth between mommy life and writing life, thinking that, 6 of those 10-minute increments is an hour. And maybe I could get more, but even if I got less, a little something is better than nothing. And so the big joke in our house was, don't ask for me the apple juice in the wrong 10 minutes because I'm just not going to help you. And and lo and behold, I got through my first book that way. It took me 5 years, but I did. And I blogged about it, and I wrote a couple of another novel, and I was contacted. I did not seek this out. They came to me about the Teach Me series from Howder and Stoughton in the UK sought me out and asked me if I would write this book, which is, the blogger's dream come true. And so I got the contract and started working on it. So in 2014, I'm in the middle of the drafting and thinking, well, I want to be able to run my ideas by people. I want to connect. I knew enough about marketing to know that you really need to build a tribe. And so I thought, well, my book was I was months away from the deadline. How do I do this? And like, well, I don't know. I really didn't know how to do it. I just thought I'll just go be myself somewhere. And so I started a Facebook group, and I just reached out to the writer friends that I did know. And with the thought of, we're all time crunched. We might not all have, 5 kids under 8 years old. We might not be homeschoolers, but we all are looking to pursue our dreams in tiny bits of time. And that's what the book was all about. So why can't I start finding out more about the people that maybe, encourage them in their dreams too? So what I didn't know was the Facebook group really would become bigger than the book. And we grew really, really fast. We had like 3,000 people by the end of the first year. I had to recruit volunteers, help me monitor threads. People would get ideas for subgroups, which went off, and we still, some of them come and go. We would kind of meet the needs of our group at the time. We had activities, we had chats, we were on Twitter, we had a blog. We started publishing books within our imprint as 10-minute novelists so that we could encourage and provide helps for time crunched writers. It's just really taken off. I've met people all over the world. Then in 2018, we had a conference in Cincinnati, Ohio, which was a success. And, we are now celebrating 7 years, and we've got another conference scheduled for this summer. And it's going to look really different than it's ever looked before. But, we're post-COVID now. And so that's the way things are. And so we are looking at that. I have really been pleased with the way our group has gone. And I have to say, it's mostly the volunteers that have pushed it and been enthusiastic. I couldn't have done this by myself. It's all about the team. And so that's where we are now. And your listeners are welcome to join us on Facebook. It's easy to find, 10-Minute Novelist. And then we can find information about your books. This week, because of our birthday, we're having a birthday book fair where we've set up an event, and we've got headings within the event, and you just put in your information about your book where we can buy your book. And it's all divided by genre. So it's kind of like being at a bookstore, because you're going through the shelves and you can discover a new author. We have published authors, we have wannabe authors, we have people who have been in this for decades, we've got people who are just starting out. So it's really fun to meet new people and find out where they are. We're also giving away copies of Conquering Twitter in 10 Minutes a Day. Today, everybody in our group gets a free copy. All 15,000 people, if they want a copy, they can get a copy. All they can do is sign up. And I can tell your listeners and your viewers how to get that this week, but it's this week only.
Yeah, okay. You say this week, because this is recorded in advance.
All right, you can cut all that out.
But, all right, so sorry you missed it, because this week has already happened. But that is this kind of awesome stuff that you can get in this group. So
even if you it is past the last week of March and you hear this, you can still get the book for 99 cents. It's not a big deal. Or you can still join our group and still meet authors. The book fair might be over, but there's still plenty of opportunity to meet people and connect. Sorry about that. Oops.
Sorry. But it is a great example of the kind of fun stuff that you guys do. So so you've come on the show before, and we talked a little bit at that time about some kind of top tips for writers who are very time crunched, as a lot of us are. And before we move on, maybe it would be a good idea to revisit some of that.
Sure, I'm happy to. I had to literally teach myself how to manage my time, and I had a lot on my plate. And so what I do when I hear about somebody who says to me, well, I'd love to be a writer and I just don't know the time. My thought is, you know what, you probably do have the time. You just have not sat down and intentionally looked through how you use your time and organize it in such a way that you probably can find 10 minutes without even trying, but you can probably find multiples of that daily if you really, really look. So the first thing I would recommend is getting a big vision. Like, what is it you're trying to accomplish? And sometimes it takes time to really figure out, but a way to look at it is, are you writing just because you want to be creative, or are you writing because you really want to be a career author? And so understanding where you're kind of going first is really, really important, because that's going to dictate in a way how you use your time and what kind of where you don't want to waste your time. And the second thing I'd figure out is, like, what do you have? How are you managing the time that you have? And so I would encourage people to make a spreadsheet and look at a calendar by an hourly schedule type calendar thing, where you're seeing the hours of the day and start marking things off. Like, if you go to work every day, mark off the hours that you're working, mark off your time for sleeping and your meal time, errands you have to run, appointments, the standing appointments, everything that fills that schedule. And then look at what's left over, because you probably have, you've been binging Netflix every Wednesday night for 10 years. That could be valuable writing time. Do you really want to keep doing the binging Netflix, or do you want to start pursuing your dreams with that block of time? Or let's say, you were involved in this, softball league or something, and it's picking up in the season. Great, block time out for that. But you've got time in the mornings before work, or you've got a commute. Like, say you live in the city and you're taking public transportation. That's a 30-minute commute. You could use that 30 minutes to write, or to listen to audiobooks or something, or explore podcasts about writing or something, because we do have time in our day. We don't have blocks of time, hours on end, but we do have time to reach our goals. It's just a matter of finding it. And it's kind of like if you were trying to lose weight, and you were sitting down with a nutritionist, they'd say, well, count all your calories and let's see where you're getting those excessive calories. Or if you were trying to get more control of your finances, they would look at all your expenses and say, well, where is all your money going? And the time is the same way. But unlike money and unlike calorie counts, we get only the exact same amount of time. Nothing changes about the amount of hours we have in a day. So if we really have these dreams, we need to work for it. If we wait until things are perfect, we are never going to perceive our dreams, because life is never perfect. So that's why I wanted to start when my kids were young, even though I had a lot to do, because I knew that if I waited until they were out of the house, I would, it would kind of be wasted time. And also I wanted them to see me pursuing my dreams. I wanted them to see me gaining control over the time that I had. And I'm really glad I did it the way I did it, because now I'm an author of 10 books. And some are out of print, some are not available, but I've written 10 books in the course of this period of time. My kids are really independent. I have more time on my hands than I've ever had. And I know now how to discipline myself so that I can pursue the things that are really important to me. So that's one of the things I would do. And then also I would plug into a community, and I would find buddies, because you constantly need people to guide you in the right direction. And it's really easy, especially when you're starting out, to think, oh, how hard can it be to write a book? Oh, it's hard. And just because you are an average reader doesn't necessarily make you a good writer. Well, what makes a good writer? And I cannot stress enough the importance of developing your craft. Become good at this. And not just good, excellent at this, especially in the light of the fact that this is a saturated market and there are new writers selling their books constantly, and you have to compete for readers. So the best books, but more well written, are more likely to gain and sustain a readership than ones that are poorly written. And you really need to know what that means to be well written. So to put your time and energy into that. And which leads up to our conference, if you really want to know.
Yeah. We would love to know about the conference.
Okay, so this summer, 10 Minute Novelists is hosting our second conference. It's called Find Your Spark. What's the theme? Find Your Spark. So like the spark of creativity. We have got some speakers that are notable in their wisdom and their energy for encouraging writers. Stephen James is coming to speak. He's our keynote speaker. He's a thriller writer, and he's a conference speaker, and he's really encouraging and tells us a lot about conflict and a lot about what it means to have tension into your stories. And I'm really looking forward to hearing from him. We have Angela Ackerman coming to speak, and she's the author of the Emotional Thesaurus series. She's very well versed when it comes into character development. We have Eric Smith coming to speak. He's an agent as well as a young adult author. He's funny, and he's going to be speaking to us. And we have Tex Thompson, who is very energetic and lively, and she's going to come and talk to us about all kinds. I'm trying to think what she talks about. All kinds of things. All of these combined together are a really great way to spend. It's a Thursday night, all day Friday, Saturday morning Zoom conference. If you're outside of the Eastern time zone, then you can re-record it and you can watch it at your own leisure. It's only $100 for the weekend. I'm going to give you a link, and so you got your listeners and readers can click in. We'd love to have anybody come and be a part of this. It's going to be a great weekend. It's July 15th through 17th this summer.
Yeah, sounds like a good weekend. And because it's virtual, anyone from anywhere in the world.
That's what we were hoping. We had it live the first time. This time it's virtual because we want all of our international writers to join us. And so I'm looking forward to that part of it too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the last time we talked was a bit earlier in the pandemic, but I think we did still, it was after it had started. And a lot of us during this pandemic have had to really reevaluate our time and time track as our schedules keep getting shifted and shifted again. So are there any lessons maybe you've learned over the past however many months it's been, that things that maybe were a little different from the beginning about maintaining that writing momentum?
Well, I think that if anything, it's taught us how to be flexible. And, I think that it's also made many people aware of their own mental health. You know, self-care has never been more important than has been in the last year. And just some people need to write in order to just get all those feelings out. And this is a great way to do it, because you've never been closer to your computer than you have right this last year. And so I think that just being really conscientious of feeling the best you can under the circumstances, you know, making sure you're getting enough sleep, you're eating right, you're drinking enough water, you're trying to get some exercise of some sort, even though you can't necessarily socialize the way you once did, or your job situation has changed. You know, I that's probably the baseline importance of just taking care of yourself. And I'm not saying anything new. This has been pushed all along. But as writers go, I think this is, you know, I've been watching a lot of my writer friends over the last year, how things have changed. Now, parents who all of a sudden have new responsibilities, they aren't been able to, they've had to push their goals to the side so they can take care of their family. And, you know, that's a good thing. That is not a bad thing. If ever we ever have to put our family above our writing, we should do it and not worry about it. You know, the writing is going to it's going to stay there. Nothing's going to change. You're working on this great thriller novel and you've been working on it for years. And then all of a sudden pandemic hits and you have to drop it and you have to go take care of your family and make sure everybody's functioning. You know, that book, it will be there when you get back. You know, it's okay. The market's going to handle it. You're going to handle it, especially if you're new and your platform is still wobbly. Just, you know, take care of your family. Don't worry about your book. But then there's people who have embraced this opportunity, and they've become more active on social media and you know, sold more books and learned more. And I really feel like if it feels like it's a place where there's no anxiety and no stress and you feel good about that, go in that direction. But if like you can't handle the Twitter and the Facebook and the Instagram and all those things because of the pressure, then drop out. Take care of yourself. I think that's one of the things I've learned personally is if I don't feel like doing it or this is causing anxiety, I need to pull back from it, because it's not worth it to me. It's not worth it to my family to be overstressed. So I guess that's probably the biggest thing is that. And I can see the value in being creative. I think 2020, I was the most productive that I've ever been. And I learned a lot about myself, and things changed for me at the end. And I'm happy with the changes. And so, and my family's supporting of me, and I'm looking forward to what 2021 is going to bring. So I'm getting a son-in-law this year. And so that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's, if there's a change for me personally, that would be one of them. But anyway, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, I think so. And it is, I think, important to remember that this is just a season of our lives. And now it's starting to appear like that as more people are getting vaccinated and things are opening back up. But like, it definitely for a while there felt like this was just going on forever. But even at that time, you have to know at the back of your head, like it can't last forever. Eventually it comes to a conclusion.
Right.
Yeah. So this has been a good kind of short chat, but I wondered if you have any other news you'd like to share or any parting words of advice?
Parting words of advice. Let me think about this. I think that writing has taught me a lot about staying organized. I think that there's always room for improvement in how we manage ourselves and how we manage our families, how we manage our writing. I also think that if you become disciplined in one area, it spills out into other areas, and it's good. It's good to, look at your time wisely. It's good to look at your projects with with discernment. Like, is this really worth doing? It's good to, the phrase in writing is kill your darlings. Well, there's a lot of things that are our darlings. And it's in reference to writing. It's those special passages that we're so in love with that have absolutely nothing to do with the story, and we need to kill them. We need to edit them out because they're really not. They're not adding any value. And I think that is true for a lot of things in our lives. That there are darlings that we need to kill, not literally.
Yeah.
But
Literally,
we're giving our time and our lives to the wrong things, and it's sapping energy and it's making us less excellent. And so I think that maybe that would be it. Like, have a bigger perspective of what are those darlings that need to be killed, and then do it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, a lot of the things that you think you have to do, you don't really have to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There are good things that came out of this season of isolation. I think it helped a lot of people reevaluate what's important. And I know I did. And so that's not to be afraid of change. And sometimes we get, if 2020 taught us anything, is that sometimes there's change that you don't get to be a part of. You don't have any say in. It's going to happen. And so instead of being resentful or angry or heartbroken, look at it as an opportunity this is going to make you a better person somehow. So, and it's up to you to figure out how that is. So,
yeah, that's a great way to look at it. This is going to make you a better person somehow. You figure out how.
Right.
Yeah, I like that. And this has been a great chat. You've inspired me to do. I've been needing to do time tracking again for a while, but here at the end of quarter one feels like a good time to start.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. So would you like to remind folks where we can find you and 10 Minute Novelists online?
Yes, you can. You can go to Facebook and look up 10 Minute Novelist and ask to join, and we'll be signing you in, and you're part of our group. And then while you're there, you can find out about our conference this summer. And if there's any questions you've got, tag me because I can answer them. And we'll see if you can join us there. And we've got questions to ask. We've got things for you to be encouraged by. You can ask your own questions, and our experts of all levels can pitch in and help you and be a part of the group. So
absolutely. It's a great group to be part of. So thanks so much for coming on the show, Katharine.
Thanks, Connie.